The man, Rovic, Raj, Raj, Abuja.
Yeah, that's right.
Close.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah.
Well, listen, you have a storied history with Dragon Drive. Tell us about when you started, and then how many you think you've done since you started?
Well, for Dragon Drives, I started in 22 sick week. That was my first one. I was trying to go to Drag Week. I signed up in 21. Couldn't cross the border. Coming into the States for COVID, like they were letting people in, but you had to have a really good excuse. And I don't think Dragon Drive was on their list. Plus, they were confused what it was. They didn't understand. I said, I got my car, got a trailer, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna drive around and cruise, and they're kind of like, well, they couldn't get it. So
That's not important.
yeah, they just didn't understand. So they said, no, you got to go home. It took about an hour. Like they didn't just say no. They got a supervisor. They were looking it up. They were trying like, and then where are you going to stay? Like they were all concerned. I'm like, well, an event that everybody's going to. So it's not like I'm breaking some COVID law here. Like, but I couldn't. So 22 sick week. When the borders opened going south, that was my first one. And yeah, and I've done, this is my 11th, I believe. What is it? Eight? Yeah, I got to count. Three, five, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you completely went off the deep end. But before that, were you into driving your cars around, like, or were they just drag cars?
Oh no, no, they were driving cars. They were just regular car. Since I was a teenager, I had one of them, a different 67 Olds, which I still have. And yeah, we just drove it all the time. We'd, cruise nights, but we'd cruise just me and my buddies and go look for races later on in the evening. But we'd just drive it, go get ice cream, go 100 miles or so or something, whatever, just burn gas, right? And then at night we'd go drag racing.
So tell us about the car now, because when you started, it didn't run nice. But so what did it start as? And like,
This is Steve Atwell on his 19.
It started the first Dragon Drive. It was a 10.8 average at the end of it, and then every Dragon Drive after I upped my average. So I think went to about I think 10.57 or so. Then 10.30s average. That was the first year. Then I got it down into like the 10.20, 10.11, then 10.0. And then I had to change to the car did go nines every day at drag 23, but I didn't have a chassis set or a license. So every morning it would go 996, 995. Then I'd slow it down and be like a 1011, 1007. Next day, 996 or 994. It was a great DYO car. And then I'd have to keep slowing it. So that was a 10 something average for drag week. Or for the rest of that 23 year, and then beginning 24, I upped the roll bar, got a chassis cert and all that junk and a license. Finished that off at Death Week last year. This time I made my single passes that I needed, got the license over winter, and then sick week this year, nines.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
And pro DYO winner, right?
Yeah, number 2 in sick week and winner in sick summer for pro DYO.
Books that aren't.
They were the smell of the 1982 turbocharged Camaro right-hand side. Mustang on the opposite side. The Chris Koski.
It was actually really bad compared to when I was testing or doing stuff. Usually I can hold a 20,000 spread. I think I ended up with about a 43, which is really wide for that class. Normally it's underneath the 20s. But I got lucky and all my competitors were the same. Like, we all opened up our spreads evenly. So it wasn't just me. Nobody else could hold their own. So.
Your lanes are open.
Like, if one track testing and you test all weekend and you've got it figured out here within a few thousands, but now you've got to go get a drive 300 miles. You got to go to another track. You've got to then figure that track out all again. So you do that all the time. We do that 4 times a week. And sometimes even when we come back to the first track, it's not the same.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do? What's your build?
Well, this engine I ended up putting it in. I think the 3rd or 4th Dragon Drive. I'm kind of losing track. The first one was my own build. I built since 20 plus years ago. This is a Bill Travato motor out of Rochester, New York. It's kind of the old king of the world. for Oldsmobile engine. He knows what you got to do. And this motor is it's actually a used motor I bought. He got back from a customer. It's just a street build, no porting heads. It's basically you put it in like not a restoration car, but a guy who just wants to drive, have a weekend with the car. That's what this engine is. No high performance build in mind. And he had it used, so it's affordable for me. I bought that, and I've just been tweaking it more and more and getting it. I think I started about 1040 with this. Now I'm into the nines. Same, nothing's changed, just tuning. I mean, I changed the intake. Yeah. No, just the intake. Yeah.
Getting there first, 744, 94 miles an hour, 80 flat, 89 miles an hour for the big pickup truck.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
I bring up
Well, even like a 950 average or a 90 average, which is we have in the plans. That's what we're building next. This engine is limited to any more power, it'll blow up the block. I can make this thing go one pass, like probably a 90, but it might be one pass and it's over, right? So I've actually been slowing it down. Did 9.6s at 6 feet, and when I won the Pro DYO at 6 summer, I slowed it down to a 990 to make the motor live. So I've slowed the car down. I just hold like a 995, 997, just enough to be in the nines.
Well,
Yeah.
That's single digits. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
This fucking drive all the time. Like,
Yeah.
no joke, 4,000 miles a year minimum.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. And then plus driving to them, like now I drove to the beginning of this, right? The Ozarks and
So now where
once again, David,
this I ended up started Quebec, so northern New York State. Because I left the vehicle after 6 summer, knowing I'd do this event. I went back to the Northwest and then I came back again through a convoluted way. I went to a bunch of NMCA races. I went to Drag Week as a worker volunteer to help out, and then rushed back, got my car, and then drove down here. So yeah,
That's crazy. So 666 is kind of like Deathly Flash shoots.
Yeah.
They race 8 miles, so it opens up the track opportunities.
Really nothing, because a car like mine being heavy, and I'm not a turbo car, which can turn it on later on, even after the 200-foot mark. I need everything's in the 60-foot. My numbers can swing 4/10 just if I don't get a 60-foot. So really, I don't change up. I don't change up for quarter mile and 8th mile racing. I gotta go now. It's just that you're letting off the gas pedal at the 8th, So or sometimes I forget it. I go about 950 feet. I was like, holy God. Yeah. So that's right. That's right.
Well, what's the transmission?
It's got too much gear in it. It's 342. This thing needs about a 330 something in it. TH400. My friend back in Quebec built this. I have one of his other transmissions for 25 plus years. It's never been touched. And you see the way I drive my cars on the street. They're very spirited at checkpoints, and so I got him.
That's the one.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So it makes people happy. That's all I look at it.
on the right hand side comes up next. He goes 7-6.
That's right. As soon as I got to the first hotel at Ozarks, like on day 0 or -1, all I did was pulled off the interstate, got like I can see the hotel, and I just lit them up on the boulevard, and I just felt happy. Now I knew, okay, now we're at a drag and drive. Prior to that, I was just driving my car. I actually took the long way through Kentucky and Nashville. Went down to Chris's place to help him out, get ready, and we drove together. So yeah, I did a burnout, got the whip of rubber. I'm like, it's on. The week starts. Yeah.
I take it into St. Jason from this is Haley.
Yeah.
During her Pontiac Transit left-hand side. Right now, her best run is 807, which in the 8 mile actually matches her dad's best run in the 4 mile. See if Haley learns a new personal best here. She goes 820. She's a little slower here today, 86 miles an hour, 980 at 73 miles an hour for the Lashman in the Fox Mustang.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, it's a little bit longer because I wasn't there for the beginning of the builds or the carburetor, so it takes a little bit longer to get to know them. So we're chipping away slowly at it. Whereas mine, I've been tuning it so I make how many passes, and I know, if you tie your shoelaces the wrong way, my car runs different. But theirs, I don't know that trick yet. So we're working on it, and it's fun. We're cruising together with Rich Ito and Bruce Fleming. He's in the 67 old stick shift car, which is real cool. So we're all talking on the highway, having fun. So, but yeah, and then I'll do it again with my car because I'm going to build a new engine. It's in the works right now for sick week 5. So in 3 months, it's not together yet, but talking with Bill Travato, we have the parts, we have the time between a couple of other races. We'll do Bradenton and PRI. We should have the motor in, and I'm going to start working on it right after this event. And no, I'll be up PRI. I'm going to come right from Bradenton from Snowbirds.
Vehicles
We'll be down there racing. Pedalbox Extreme Street car, but I don't know what class they run down there for that car, but like a
truck.
That's right. I'm hoping like just to keep it's because I'll be doing a lot of suspension tuning because it's a lot more power, so I can't put all the power to it. So I'm hoping for a 950 average. The car horsepower wise will go way past that, but there's no point. I don't want to have a really weird spread because I'm going to still go for Pro DYO. So I want to hold a 950 or a 930 and just start there and then keep chipping every year. I have a goal to keep tuning it and just getting into the 8s.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
Have to go back to
3750. Yeah, it's not too bad.
This information the other day.
Yeah.
Of who would be driving this car if it was not in. If I was a professional announcer, I would actually.
No, I pretty much, I don't know if I need everything I bring. I haven't touched it, but it's there. I forgot, like last night working, I had my transmission out in a park. There's a couple of things I'm like, oh, I wish I had that with me and I didn't have it. So now I know I got to add a couple more things to the box, seals and some gaskets that, I never thought about them. So I'll be adding more to it. So I'm going to find more now.
So that brings up our next pair. Christine Watkins in the 71 Trans Am comes up next. And she'll line up with the really cool gasser themed 67 model Chevrolet station wagon. Now when I say
well, this morning, 6:30 in the morning, one young guy came up and wanted to check it out. He's got a little build and a hot rod, and he likes coming racing here. And then another gentleman, he was waiting. And all he had to do is praise. He's like, man, I love seeing, old cars, and your car sounds great when I pulled up to the pumps next to him. And so, yeah, every time you end up stopping, well, yesterday there was a bunch of little kids, probably 5 years old, that are getting into drag racing with their dad. So I gave them a couple of stickers I had and stuff like that we had made up. I don't know if I've given you one yet. I got it in the car. You're going to dig it. Yeah, all of this just, I wish I had one in my pocket, but it says, don't be a burnout, do a burnout. Yeah, do a burnout. Yeah.
72 miles
for sure. Exactly. Hey, no problem.
Water fuel, so we'll take a look at that when they get back to the pit area. Speaking of the pit area,
yeah, it just happened to be sure. Okay, not me yet. Just making sure. Rich Ito was having a bit of an issue. He's been adjusting his clutch and he wasn't sure what was going on. He thought maybe it was glazed. So he went to pull it apart, but then he found out the pilot bushing was blown out. Totally separated. It took a bit to get it. The middle part fell out, but the race was jammed. There was nothing to grab onto, just a thin. So he got it out, fixed that. It deglazed his flywheel, He was doing some pretty interesting work. He knows, and we'll see him on the asphalt in the parking lot, grinding it down using that because he didn't have enough sandpaper, rough enough sandpaper. So it worked. He's ready. He'll make a pass. Another gentleman, I didn't remember his name, black S10, like 90s. He was having transmission issues, and we just happened to park next to him. And we're like, hey, man, we don't mind. And he was into the same boat working on his stuff. His daughter, I believe, is driving the truck. Yeah. So he was working on all that all night while she was resting up so she could be ready for today. Yeah. So.
Once again, driver, if you have the time slot that you want, please bring it to the second floor of the tower for this week.
There was a bunch of Italian engineers that work in the tobacco fields, hydraulic experts, and they came over, didn't know what we were doing. They were having a couple of drinks, and we were like, well, we got a hydraulic pump apart. You tell us about it. And it perplexed him because he never seen the transmission open and how the pump works. And yeah, that's right. So that was cool. We had, just people walking around, and they came and checking it out. Thanks.
You'll see here when you take a look at a lot of cars that are coming up.
I don't know all of them. One of them, the first one we stopped at, where they had the Route 66 on the road, and it was like that, that little old gas station and stuff. That there's a picture that is posted on Facebook. I don't know who took it. Maybe you even. And it's got that image, and it's got Rich Guido, Bruce Fleming's 442, and mine on one side, and all it is like 60s GMA body, like 67 and older. On the other side, there was a little bit more modern, like 70s GM muscle cars. It's like we're gonna line up and race. The picture is just perfect. So that checkpoint was really neat. And man, every one of them has been so cool. Yeah.
For putting all the stops we pull into the highway.
Yeah.
And the trench starting and it's got a control there.
Yeah.
We'll go 909, 78 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. Big up.
Oh, and it's just starting. I know. Like I talked to Tom and Luke just a bit on the side, and they're like, dude, just wait. They're easing into this. It's just going to blow everybody's mind away as they go further west here. It's going to be great. That's right.
Now we've got our next stop,
Yeah.
360 miles in
That's right.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody has to worry about making passes. So it's going to be funny to see people's plan. Like, are they?
That's
right. Yeah, no, it's going to be good. I'm going to enjoy this one. Yeah, once we get away, like you said, all the city folk and all the other traffic that distracts you from like looking around and or stopping and worrying about all these cars coming on you, it's going to be fun.
Bring our city again.
Yeah.
The trains in up against each other last time.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Chick-fil-A in the trains in.
All right, guys, listen, if you're here at Raceway Park and you want to come by and tell your story for driven racing oil in the drag, it's driven repeat, please come by. We'll set the camera up, we'll get everything going. But I've got to run around. I hear drag racing right there. I've got to get this covered for you guys at home.